There are also concerns about the problems on how the poor waste management methods are affecting climate change. Now, to help us appreciate what is going on, we do have Allan Muhereza, the country lead at Youth for Tax Justice Alliance. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, straight into it. There have been concerns about how poor waste management systems are having an impact on the climate change. How is that?
First and foremost, the poor waste management is mainly about the things that we use in our day-to-day lives, and most of which come from things that are not environmentally sustainable. I'll give an example, mainly plastics. I would say, for example, if all the things you use, for example, in your day-to-day life, you cannot reuse again, or you can reuse but not that many times, then you're most likely to have a challenge, especially if you then don't have the facilities to either recycle some of these items, or even if you don't have facilities to make use of them after you've used them. So, and I think it's shown when we went to Kiteezi. If you have waste, for example, if it's biodegradable, if it's maybe you can maybe use manure, but that's not what we had. You have a pile and pile of waste that you can't recycle, or if you can recycle, you've not been recycling because of one reason or other. So that becomes a challenge, because then it affects other ecosystems that you could be having, in terms of whether it's rainwater, whether it's the way people are living, whether it's the way people are going about their day-to-day. So it's mainly what we are using, or how we are doing the things we do, especially when it comes to energy, how we do or what we use, and then after, what happens to some of those things, especially when we talk about plastics. Okay,
so talk to us about whether it is possible to seek and secure climate justice in this matter.
Of course, climate justice is quite broad, but mainly it comes up to about three things. That we can have a transition from the things that we've been doing or we've been using that are not environmentally sustainable. Two, that actually the people that have been affected by some of these challenges can then either adapt, either have the materials or the resources to adapt, mitigate, that if there's any challenge that like what happened in Kiteezi, you can then come in and support, or come in and sort of live your life, or to even prevent from any of that happening. So whether it's possible to have climate, we still have a long way, because you have to go through all those areas of mitigation, adaptation, loss and damage, how do you recover from loss and damage, but also to prevent, because some of the things, the people in Kiteezi, for example, are not responsible for the rubbish in Kiteezi. It's the same thing that countries face, that those that are responsible for the climate crisis are not the ones that are suffering the biggest effects of it. Yeah, it's the same thing. We use our rubbish, it goes to Kiteezi, then people in Kiteezi die. So who is supposed to pay for that? I think ideally it will be us that, send our rubbish to Kiteezi. So it's the same sort of thing, that for climate justice to really happen, we have to have first resources to help us mitigate, for example, that things have happened. How do we how do we stop things from happening? How do we mitigate some of how do we recover, for example? You said it's been a month and nothing besides the administrative actions that were taken. Yes, there is nothing tangible that Kiteezi can happen again tomorrow, because there is nothing on the ground that has been made to see to it that something like that does not happen again. We are talking about looking for another place to dump our rubbish again, not maybe how do we recycle it in ways that something can be used more than once. How do we do some of those things? So I think we still have a long way. So
why is it important for us to mitigate waste management as soon as possible?
I think it's broader than that, but it's like I said, our sources of energy, for example, if we still, most of the things that we are using are coming from fossil fuels, whether it's energy, whether it's the cars, whether it's the plastics we use, anything, it means that we are waiting for the last end, yet we should be changing for the things that we are using. Yeah, so I will take it away from just waste management to say that we need to change the way we've been doing things. We need to change the energy sources that we have, but also in terms of resource allocation, we need to now have dedicated resources to deal with climate related disasters.
Okay, finally, you work closely with the youth in regards to issues to do with climate change. And for this matter, why do you think it is important to factor in youth in terms of environmental conservation?
One reason only, because they're going to be here the longest, so they benefit when things go well, but also they lose the most when things don't go the way they're supposed to go. And that's why for us, we've been trying to put young people at the center of that entire chain. If we are talking about loss and damage, most chances are that the people that were picking rubbish in Kiteezi were young people. The people that lost families that could not were young people. So even the people that will not be able to plant anything in the next let me say 10 years from now, are young people right now. So we believe that we should have young people at the center of that. And then lastly, in terms of, because for us we believe that everything starts and ends with how do we finance some of these issues. And for young people, they should be there to say that we need resources in terms of how we, KCC will tell you we didn't have resources to work on this. People will say we don't have resources to mitigate, or we don't have resources to relocate. It all goes back around to resources. So the question then would be, how are young people going to then to contribute some of these processes that may lead to us have more resources for climate related instances.
All right, thank you, Allan. Your message has been heard loud and clear. Allan Muhereza, the country lead at